Thank you very much, Mr. Turner. It's a pleasure to serve with you in the chair. Once again, I congratulate my honourable friend for Farnham and Borden for bringing forward this important debate. He is a man who, in Blair's immortal words, knows his claret from his Beaujolais, but I won't have anyone say he is a charmless man. And it's a pleasure to speak in support of an industry that is doing well in this country, but also is facing some challenges. And it's a homegrown success story with over 1,000 vineyards and nearly 5,000 hectares under vines across the country. In my own North West Norfolk constituency, I'm fortunate to have wineries including the award-winning Burn Valley and Cobble Hill, who are contributing to the local economy, supporting tourism and creating jobs. And the wine and spirit industry contributed £76 billion in economic activity last year, with nearly half of that coming from the wine sector. And yet, despite the success, the government is putting more burdens onto the sector. But it has been a good debate with contributions from my honourable friend, I think, wins the prize for the number of wineries in her constituency. The member for Edinburgh South West made some important points about public health. The honourable member for Witney, unfortunately, he couldn't not mention Brexit. I mean, he seems slightly obsessed, but anyway. And the domestic sector is largely made up of small producers, with two-thirds producing fewer than 10,000 bottles a year. These are generally family businesses, local employers and passionate entrepreneurs. And employment in the sector has grown significantly over the last few years, and since 2010, bottle sales have increased to over 9 million. And the UK is obviously also a global hub for the trade, as the second largest importer of wine by volume and value. So this is a sector we should be nurturing, not penalising. And when we were in government, that's what we did. We introduced a simplified duty system based on taxing alcohol by strength, with an 18-month easement to help the sector. We encouraged businesses to diversify and move into wine production. Importantly, in the context of this debate, we froze alcohol duty rates in the Autumn Statement 2023, and then we continued that in the Spring Budget of 2024. That is a record of support, but sadly the government has taken a different path. At last year's budget, the government raised the headline rate of alcohol duty by inflation. As we've heard, now around 60% of the cost of a bottle of wine is tax, and Wine GB warn that increases are driving down demand and in turn cutting the revenues to the Treasury. 1 in 4 drinkers say they'll buy less alcohol as a result of the price increases. And let's be clear, producing wine in Britain is not easy. Yields are 30 to 50% lower than in France or Spain. Labour costs are higher, the weather is obviously unpredictable, and input prices keep rising. But instead of backing the sector, the government keeps piling on costs. Alcohol duty up, business rates up, national insurance up. And the impact, as we've heard, the Wine and Spirits Trade Association have pointed out that the revenues from alcohol duty are down £300 million in the first 6 months of this financial year. And if that continues, then the Treasury will be bringing in £1 billion less than forecast by the OBR at the Spring Statement. The government is putting the country on the wrong side of the Laffer curve, not just on alcohol taxes, but across the board. And the Minister is relatively new in post, so I wonder, has he commissioned advice on the impact of duty on the sector? Has he taken a fresh look at the data? Has he looked at the assumptions which the OBR use? If not, will he do that, and will he do that rapidly? Because we on this side of the House are firmly on the side of Britain's wine producers, a vibrant, innovative, homegrown sector that deserves support, not more taxation. And of course, it's not possible to have this debate without talking about the hospitality sector, as a number of colleagues have. Wine is more than a drink, it's about socialising and shared experience. And the sector clearly depends heavily on pubs and restaurants and hotels to introduce consumers to the great British product. But under this government, as so many other sectors, hospitality is struggling. Nearly 90,000 jobs have been lost since the disastrous budget a year ago, and we've seen today the unemployment rate hitting 5%. It's gone up every month under this government. And that's a result of the Chancellor's terrible judgment to make it more expensive to employ people. So with rising employment costs, the jobs tax, the EPR, higher business rates, we see layer upon layer of additional costs. And it's no wonder that UK hospitality has described the government's approach as a hammer blow. Now, the wine sector has put forward some suggestions for the Chancellor and ministers ahead of the budget. First and foremost, reconsidering some of those decisions to increase business taxes, looking at a freeze in excise duty or a wine tourism relief, and a point made by my honourable friend for Bridgewater and echoed by others around the alignment of small producer relief with the realities of the wine industry. These are all practical ideas that are worthy of consideration, so will the Minister commit to look seriously and carefully at all of those? So rather than taxing success, we should be nurturing it. Yeah. The wine sector is a model of sustainable rural growth and it deserves our support. The ask the sector has for the Minister is simple. Will the government work with them, listen to them, look at the evidence and commit to easing the burden on our wine producers?
Yeah. Thank you.